Okay, let's take a look at lesson 2, and I want to look at some of the prerequisite skills that we should have acquired last year. So the first question here says, use the graph to help answer the following questions. Question A says, what is the value of the y-intercept? So what we're doing is we're looking at the y-axis. So here's our y-axis. We know the horizontal is our x-axis, but here we're asking for our y-axis. So right here where the graph crosses the y-axis, our y value there would be, looks like a -3, right? That value is not labeled because we're going by a scale of 1 to 1, but this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. So it looks like our y-intercept is -3. And then it asks for what is the domain and range of the linear function shown on the graph. So the domain would be the set of all real numbers. Okay, our x values, they never stop to the right and they never stop to the left. If we're thinking about the left-rightness of the graph, that's our domain. The domain is the x values and the range is the set of all y values. So our domain, we would say the set of all x such that x is all real numbers. And our range is also the set of all y. If we think of the up-downness of the graph continues up forever and down forever. The set of all y such that y is an element of the reals. What is the x-intercept? Our x-intercept here would be 2. X equals 2. So it says the value of the y-intercept. What is the x-intercept? We could say x equals 2, or if we were being more specific, we would say 2, 0, and x is 0, and y is -3. Those are the coordinates. Okay, if it asks for the coordinates, you need to give both coordinates. If it says just the value, just the one value would be acceptable as well. Okay, and we could also figure out the equation. Okay, the equation of this graph, just as a quick. Also, I know that the y-intercept is -3, and that's my b value when I consider the y equals mx plus b form of an equation, and my slope, m, is +1, right? Because, oh, no, sorry, my slope is not +1. We are going, my apologies, we are going up 3 and over 2. Okay, we're going up 3 and over 2. So our slope is 3 over 2. For a second, I thought it was just 1 over 1. But our slope is 3 over 2. So our y equals mx plus b form would be y equals 3 over 2x minus 3. Okay, I know it doesn't ask for that, but that's just a little extra that we should be able to know figure out the equation of a linear function. Okay, use the graph to help answer the following questions. What is the value of the y-intercept? So for this next question, whoops, I just bumped that. Our y-intercept here would be 4. Okay, if this is 0, right, we're going up by 1s, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 0, 4. What is the domain of the graph and what is the range? So our domain, our smallest x value and our biggest x value. If I were to shade this graph in terms of my domain, we would shade all of these values from here to here when I'm just looking at the x values. Okay, so we would say the domain is the set of all x such that x is between -4 and 4. So -4 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 4. And our range, if we were to look at the range, let's choose another color here and shade. Our range goes from, our highest y value is 5 and our lowest y value here is 0. So our range here would be from 0, oh sorry, I said 5, from 0 to 4, okay? Yeah, our highest y value here would be 4, okay, and our lowest is 0. So, oh, and I guess this should go down here, sorry. So there's our domain and our range, okay? And if you are not in class to see this review or miss this, then I would also recommend that you look on Desmos, and there's an explore domain and range activity that in class I will do. So if you're kind of a little bit weak on domain and range or just forget, that's a good review, and we're going to do that in class. Okay? Determine the x-intercept and the y-intercept of each equation for number 3 here. So I know if I want to find the x-intercept, I'm going to let y equal to 0. And if I want to find my y-intercept, I'm going to let x equal to 0. So let's take a look here. If I want to find my x-intercept and I let y equal to 0, then I go 0 equals x minus 5. And now I want to solve for x. So of course I add 5 to both sides, or I can think about it as moving over the negative 5, and negative 5 becomes positive 5. So x is equal to 5. Okay, and if I want to find that y-intercept and my x value is 0, then y is equal to 0 minus 5, and y is equal to negative 5. And another thing I could just mention here is that this graph here, this equation, is in y equals mx plus b form. So I know that my negative 5 is my y-intercept because that's my b value. Okay, so we don't necessarily need to go to the trouble of making x equal to 0. We can just see right away, even with this one, if x is 0 here, y is negative 15 because 3 times 0 is 0. So I know right away that my y-intercept is negative 15. And my x-intercept, I would let y equal to 0. So if I want to find that x-intercept, I'm going to say 0 is 3x minus 15. I'm going to move over my negative 15. And we get positive 15 equals 3x, dividing both sides out by 3. X is equal to 5. Okay, and then question C, the graph is not in y equals mx plus b form, so I can't just assume that negative 12 is my y-intercept. I could move it to y equals mx plus b form to find that y-intercept really quickly, but another way to do that is just, I'm going to find my x-intercept by letting y equal to 0, so 2 times 0 plus 3x minus 12 equals 0. So right away, that term is gone, so we get 3x equals 12. When we move over that negative 12, it becomes a positive 12, dividing both sides by 3, and x is 4. Okay, and when we look at the y-intercept, again, x is 0, so we get 2y plus 3 times 0 minus 12 equals 0. That one's gone. Okay, right away that one's gone. And that term is gone, and we get 2y equals 12. Again, we move that negative 12 over, and dividing both sides by 2, we get y equals 6. Okay, so there's our x and y intercepts for each equation. And I would recommend you do the prerequisite skills review pretty much the whole page. Okay?